Selling lies and buying time, killing people next in line. Lower classes, social slime, they don't matter. Genocide, sick from water, sick from air. Making money, they don't care. Caesar shit, force of air. Fuck them back, it's only for they war. They shoot, they kill, they massacre, rape. They burn the kids, no one makes countries. Lie to your face, fight and die, 'cause God forgives. Selling lies and buying time, killing people next in line. Lower classes, social slide, they don't matter. Genocide, sick from water, sick from air. Making money, they don't care. See their shit, force a bear. Fuck them back, that's only fair. They bomb, they shoot, they kill, they massacre, rape. They burn the kids, no one leaves countries. Lie to your face, fight and die, 'cause God forgives. Yeah. Coming back around again. Yeah.
Welcome to the show. I'm your host, Ron Stevens. This is Rock the Boat right here on UCY.tv. Excuse my voice tonight. We're up insulating the store, the perimeter walls in the store today. And I guess we sucked back a fair bit of insulation because my voice is messed up. But it'll get better. Now, I'm not even sure what I'm going to talk about tonight. But I'm sure there's lots to discuss here. This is maybe I'll talk about cops for a little while. Oh, my wife just went, no, not cops. Yeah, why not? That's not the one that I was looking for. That's an older one. Appeal, a cop with DIU conviction promoted after trying to get behind the wheel. I saw a piece today. I don't know if this is the same cop or what. Twice for DUI. I'm going to look that up and see if I can find it. Canadian police officer arrested for DUI twice in 2 months. So where is this at? Lawyersandsettlements.com. That's interesting what site popped up. So we had the cop in Toronto busted with DUI, and he didn't get fired. I don't even think he went to court. They just demoted him. And then, they did. They suspended his license, I think, for a year or something. And then they caught him again driving, not drunk this time, but driving. And so it's bad enough, it says, when DUI occurs, driving under the influence occurs, but it's worse when a cop is caught driving under the influence. Even worse when it happens twice, such as the case of 55-year-old RCMP officer from Vancouver, BC, who was recently stopped for impaired driving for the second time in 2 months, according to the November 10th edition of the Vancouver Sun. The 16-year veteran of the RCMP cannot be identified due to provisions of the Federal Privacy Act. It was On November the 7th, the Vancouver police officers noted a man urinating in a parking lot near the University of BC. When the man proceeded to get into his car, the officer stopped him and conducted an impaired driving investigation. A roadside screening and collection of breath samples revealed that he was above the limit. The same RCMP officer was previously arrested on October the 3rd by Vancouver police for impaired driving and was prohibited from driving for 90 days. In both cases, the man was off duty and driving his own car. The officer has been on medical leave from his job as a general duty officer with the protective policing section of the RCMP headquarters, or at the headquarters in Vancouver. The suspect faces 2 formal internal code of conduct disciplinary hearings. According to the RCMP, he could face loss of pay and outright dismissal from the force. Now, let's see. Charges have not yet been laid against the suspect, but the Vancouver police are recommending charges of impaired driving over 0.08 and prohibited driving. But this is the beauty of being a cop. I think we all ought to become cops. All of us ought to become cops. You know, the RCMP apparently for 47 years has been abusing, verbally abusing, sexually abusing, apparently all this female staff for 40-some years. And now nobody's ever been charged. Nobody's ever gone to court over 47 years of abuse and sexual abuse and so on and so forth within the police force itself. So they put a class action suit in. So these ladies who were complaining, they never quit their jobs, mind you. Some of them waited till they were retired from the force to bring forth their actions. And so the taxpayer is apparently going to be on the hook for approximately $100 million payout to these whiny policemen or police women or whatever. Now we have the military in Canada, military people stepping forward saying they've been abused in that. And we have the Toronto Police Department now. There are people coming forth saying that they've been abused and sexually abused. Well, wait a minute. All of the police are trying to cash in on the taxpayer for the abuse they took while they were being police officers. Nobody's been charged in any of this stuff. There's never been a cop charged for any of this stuff. Not a supervisor, nobody. These cops get caught for DOI and driving under suspension and so on and so forth. They just, well, we'll demote you for 6 months and we'll put you on desk duty. And then if you're good for another 3 months, then you'll get your full paycheck back. This is not what happens to the general public. The general public are constantly harassed and sexually harassed and abused and tasered and shot and killed and beat up by the police. And when they are brought to court, which is a very rare deal, but when they do finally end up in court, what does the prosecutor do? The prosecutor always says, well, it's not in the public interest. What exactly is the public interest? The public interest is the corporate interest. All police take an oath to protect the corporation. Well, in return for protecting the corporation, what does the corporation do for the police? It protects the police. And where are you and I in this mess? We're the ones that are taking all the abuse. We're the ones that are paying their paychecks. We're the ones that are buying their guns and their cars, and then they turn around and abuse the shit out of us, and we can't bring them. We can't get them into court. Absolutely ludicrous that this continues on. Absolutely ludicrous. So it seems to me that the only answer to this is that we all become policemen or police women. It seems the only way. Then we can break the law, and in most cases, all we're going to do is get a slight demotion and maybe a decrease in our pay for a few months, and then guess what? We're back on board again. How many people have had their lives destroyed when they haven't harmed anybody? The jails are full of people who have never harmed anybody. People's lives are destroyed. Their families are destroyed. But hey, hey, if you're in the military or you're in the police force, chances are they'll just look the other way. After all, you are protecting the corporation. And the corporation is feeding off the people. And therefore, why would we allow the people to bring the protectors of the corporation up in front of a judge? So we do internal investigations and we say, he's having a bad day. I don't know how many reports I've heard on this. Well, he was having family problems. He had a bad day. He apologizes for his actions, but, what the hell, eh? He's a good guy or a good gal. Yeah. So a little tap on the wrist and, we're going to demote you for a minute. And then as soon as nobody's looking, you'll be back at full pay. It's absolutely disgusting that goes on. Now, out in Dakota, I seen a video last night out in Dakota where apparently it's below zero out there. And what are the corporate protectors doing to the people out there? Besides shooting them with rubber bullets and mace and every other damn thing, pepper spray and whatnot. No, that's no fun. So let's turn the water cannons on them below zero and see if we can't mess them up that way. Do the police have any respect for men and women? Absolutely not. They don't even recognize them because that's not who they're dealing with. They're dealing with corporate fictions. And they say, well, he sprayed me with water. He didn't spray the person with the water, and that's the only one that they have any authority over. You just happen to be the agent for the person. The person's in your back wallet. And they weren't really spraying you. They were spraying the person. You just happen to be carrying the person because while you're separate, you're also indivisible. Total bunk, total nonsense, and it goes on day after day after day. And it's going to have to stop. If the police and the military are not taking an oath to the men and women to protect the men and the women and the children of our nations, then they have no place in our nations because they've committed fraud. They lead you to believe that they're protecting the men and women and the children, when in fact that's not what they're protecting at all. They're only there to protect the wealth and the players who run the corporation, known as whatever your country may be called. And it's got to stop. I don't know, how blatant does it got to get? How bloody blatant does it got to get? And it just continues on, These stories make me sick. There's a story, I don't know if I can pull that one up. There's a story, a cop, I think it was in Toronto, was sexually assaulting his kid. He was, let me see. This started quite some time ago let's see, we can just go here. Cop found guilty of child abuse. You can pull it up. Well, okay, we're pulling up different ones here. Former UK police chief guilty of child sex abuse. This is in The Guardian. Is this the same one? That's officer from child abuse. Oh, here it is, here. Another RCMP officer. These are the RCMP, by the way, is the Queen's Police Force. Not a Canadian police force, it's a Royal Canadian Mounted Police. And it is the Queen's Police Force. And the Queen is a fiction. An Ottawa judge found a suspended RCMP counterterrorism officer, no less, guilty in a gut-wrenching case Monday after hearing how the accused chained up his 11-year-old son in the basement and tormented him with a barbecue lighter. The evidence presented at trial illustrating how the adolescent boy was abused, confined, burned, beaten, assaulted, and starved was unequivocal and overwhelming, Justice Robert Menagerie said in his written ruling. But ultimately, Menagerie said it was the video evidence created by the boy's own father that proved the most damning. Now, again, if they hadn't had that video evidence, what would have happened? 3 separate recordings described by Menagerie as difficult to watch were found on the man's cell phone. They depicted a quivering boy naked and wet with his hands tied behind a post as his father insisted that he renounce Satan. The viewer is left with images that are forever etched in the darkest, saddest recesses of that person's memory. Menagerie wrote in describing the video footage recorded in 2013 or January. In the final video, the boy looked emaciated. Crucifix was drawn in felt-tip marker on his chest, and a portion of one of his front teeth appeared to be missing. During the sensational trial earlier this year, the father took the stand in his own defense. He testified he believed he was living with the devil. He said he was afraid his son was planning to stab him in the heart in his sleep. He also admitted to chaining his son in the family's basement, torturing him, burning him with a barbecue lighter, and rationing his food. The Crown's case involved instances spanning a 6-month period that ended when the boy escaped to a neighborhood home in February 2013 in search of water. The judge, however, said he believed the abuse began well prior to when the 11-year-old began being homeschooled in the fall of 2012. The 44-year-old man, who could not be identified, was convicted of 2 counts of aggravated assault, 1 each of sexual assault, causing bodily harm, unlawful confinement, assault, and failing to provide the necessities of life, and a range of firearms offenses. The boy's stepmother, who was found guilty of assault with a weapon and failing to provide the necessities of life she faces a sentencing hearing on December the 2nd, but no such date was immediately set for the father, who may end up having to undergo a further psychiatric assessment. So they're going to probably throw the stepmother in the bucket, but the RCMP officer apparently is going to get some more psychological treatment because they don't want to throw his ass in jail too bad. I believe that's probably what the problem is. The 2 accused sat expressionless in the courtroom as the judgment was read. Later, after bail was revoked for both, they were led away in handcuffs, the father with his head bowed and his mother with tears, and the mother with tears in her eyes. This is a very difficult trial, said Menagerie, who described the abuse as disturbing. Really? That's the best you can come up with? Disturbing? That a parent could do things that were done to this boy was gut-wrenching. In his ruling, the judge said he didn't believe the father's argument that he was suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder at the time inflicted the abuse. Now, that's the biggest excuse that the police use. They use that constantly. Well, I was suffering from post-traumatic stress, so I wasn't aware of what I was doing, and I was all screwed up, and because of the stress is not of my job, and this and that and the other thing. Or family problems, which again causes the stress and that. I mean, this is so set up by the corporation, it is ridiculous. Now, what happens in the end here, we'll have to wait and find out. But the fact is that if the RCMP is suing the RCMP for abuse, and the Toronto police are suing the police for abuse, and the military suing the police for abuse, then what the hell are they doing walking around in public with guns? And how is it when the cop beats someone to an inch with their life, they walk away and, it was justified? I read a story the other night where some guy with a butter knife again or something, who was upset about some damn thing, was shot. It was shot 11. There was 19 shots fired, close range. One of the cops shot another cop, and one of the bullets went through a window and struck a woman in her kitchen in her back. Now, this woman would like to know who the hell shot her in the back, but, well, that's confidential information. And it doesn't seem to matter how hard they try to find out who shot who, well, the information's not forthcoming. And this has got to stop. Anyways, the judge goes on and also commented commended the boy for being able to testify on his own behalf despite the treatment to which he had been subjected. The fact that this half-starved, burned, and battered 11-year-old could somehow summon up the strength to escape his cruel captivity and later seemingly rise above it is testament to the indomitability of the human spirit. Some 11 members of the group Bikers Against Child Abuse sat in the courtroom as manager read a summary of the 70-page decision. Their leader, who identified himself only as Titan, said responsibility for what happened to the young boy stretches beyond the parents and that people shouldn't remain silent when they suspect a child is being mistreated. As far as we're concerned, the whole community let him down, the man said. People need to be aware of what goes on. This isn't an isolated case. It's a very big case, obviously, but abuse happens on a regular basis, and the community at large needs to understand that this does happen. Now, I'm not sure where I had that other story of the woman who got shot by the police. But it's absolutely ridiculous that the people don't somehow catch on to the reality that's going on here. I tell people, your country's nothing but a corporation. What do you mean? I love Canada. Okay, so you love the corporation. Well, I like, I always sing the anthem. So you're singing the corporate anthem. Just like the Walmart people sing the Walmart anthem. That's all you're doing. And people have been lied to so long, they look at you like you got your head on crooked. And they've been lied to just since they were born, so it's very difficult for them to get a grip on reality. But the reality is what the reality is, and we ain't living in reality. Now, here's a human rights tribunal. Here's former cop described toxic culture of harassment at DeMano. Heather William endured a litany of humiliations and degrading episodes in her 7 years as a Toronto police officer. Tribunal hears. Now, this looks like this could be a native lady. Not sure. She looks like she's got some native in her, which is a good thing as far as I'm concerned. But she's been an RCMP officer and she's still a cop. Daughter of a cop, too. So she wasn't with the RCMP, so I'm sure she's got her fingers in on that $100 million. And she's still a cop. But this says former cop, but I don't know where she's a cop now. What must a father who's worn the badge think? What must anybody who has heard this 33-year-old woman's testimony in Ontario Human Rights Tribunal? Friday was her second tearful day on the stand, made of the make of the respected law and order profession. It's alleged toxic culture of sexual harassment, discrimination, which is the meat of the applicant's complaints, a litany of humiliations and degrading episodes as the hearing was heard through Heather Williams' 7 years as a Toronto police officer at 23 Division. There was this incident that happened over bar gathering from October 2012, as McMillan described it, yada, yada, yada. I stood up from my chair, my body froze. I feared he was coming to give me a big hug. I told myself it's just a hug. Costa, she testified, took her hands in her face in her hands. Instead of hugging me, he pushed his lips against my lips and tried to move his tongue into my mouth. Williams went to the washroom, rinsed her mouth. I was disgusted. I've been sexually assaulted in front of all these people. Nobody had said anything. These are a bunch of cops. And there was this incident during a phone conversation with Costa when he called to ask when McMillan would be able to return to active duty with the drug squad. She'd been off recovering from a neck injury. He said he could put my neck to use. It wasn't a. So we got this lady here bitching and complaining about being harassed. I'd been sexually harassed for so many years after I was bullied, intimidated, looked up at the chain of command and realized there was no hope. I had no chance of safety from this type of abuse. And that's inside the police force. Costa, who was investigating professional standards after human rights application was filed, is the only officer specifically named as a party in the complaint, along with the Toronto Police Services Board. After the human rights complaint was filed, Costa was investigated by both professional standards and special investigating units. No charges were laid arising from those probes, and Costa emphatically denied sexually harassing or discriminating against McMillan. McMillan has been on medical leave since early 2014, diagnosed, here we go again, with post-traumatic stress disorder as a result of her experiences. She is seeking $54,000 in compensation and broader remedies to combat systematic sexual harassment. Costa resigned from the Toronto Police Force Services in the last year. It's bloody sad that these people are all coming forward now, but these are the same damn people who will go and beat the hell out of somebody or taser them, and their partners get all jacked up. I mean, are all of the police nuts? Are all of the commissioners nuts? Are all the supervisors nuts? Like, how is it we put up with this garbage? I mean, if you look where the police actually came from in North America, you can look straight to the Rockefeller clan. You can look straight to the Rockefeller clan, because what were his strikebreakers doing? And actually, our Prime Minister, King, Mackenzie King, who was a friend of Rockefeller's way back when the coal strikes and that were going on, he came down to try to sort it out. But they were actually shooting the strikers. And so the King came down, Mackenzie King came down to work this out. This is where the police forces started in North America. And what were they doing? What were the strike breakers doing? They were policing. In other words, they were protecting the frickin' corporation. But they were really kind of outside the law. There was very few police around, okay? You might have a local sheriff or something, but you didn't have this squad kind of nonsense going on. And that's been built up over the years. And Rockefeller and his clan and the Rothschilds and all those boys have been instrumental in the growth of the police forces. And it's the same as what's going on in Dakota now, okay? You can look at that as strike breakers, right? You know, the native people and those who are supporting the native people out there at the reserve are looked upon as a problem for the corporation or the coal mine or whatever. So send in the goon squad. And that's exactly what the police are. And if you go back to the original police, which came out of England, all they were was stable boys for the rich men, for their horses. And then the rich man said, what else can we do with these guys? So they turned them into a police to go down and protect what? Their corporate interests down at the docks. So any policeman that tells you, oh, we're here for the benefit of the men and the women and the children of the nation is lying or an idiot, or both. But this has to change. It just absolutely has to change. Hello, Christopher. How are you, my friend?
Hey, Ron.
Oh, just in response to what you said to me the last time.
Yeah.
I can't say it on air.
Nope.
No, I can't. And I don't have a camera, so I can't give you the finger. But I can tell you to piss off.
Yeah, well, if people only knew the way I love you off air, they would have a lot more respect.
The abuse I take off air from you, my friend, I think I ought to go to the Human Rights Commission. I feel I have post-traumatic stress. How you doing?
Well, you know it's you're did you know that they're looking uh, into the police that police themselves. They got a judge they hired to look into how the police themselves.
Yeah, but that is such a smoke and mirrors nonsense. It's
You
ridiculous.
think?
I read that, and the people go, oh, well, at least we got a judge who's going to figure out how to the police. What do you mean? The police police the police. I mean, every agency I've talked to in this country, from the commissioner's office, from the OPP commissioner's office to the premier's office to everybody else, nobody can tell the police what to do. The police police the police. So why would you need to hire a judge to tell you that? Unless
Well, when I was on the
it's just
commission,
another frickin' smokescreen for the public.
when I was on the commission for the OEB,
Mm-hmm.
they basically give you the answers that they want
Yeah.
to. Well, this is the same kind of commission.
Exactly.
They set you up. They give you a little bit of money. They feed you really well, and they tell you how they want you to respond.
Yeah.
Within their perimeters.
Exactly.
And this is the same thing going on right now with the police of themselves. They need oversight. They got the judge. They want public input. They will buy you supper, and they will tell you the perimeters in which you have to answer and respond. And then they'll take it back and say, "Well, there you go. That's the public."
It's no different. It's no different than a poll question, right? They figure out the answer they want.
Yeah, but they
produce the poll question to give them the answer that they're looking for, and the people don't seem to notice this. And it's the same thing. That it's when you go to those meetings, I mean, there's a professional facilitator running the thing.
Yep.
Like a magician or a hypnotist or whatever the hell you want to call it. He knows exactly what the hell he or she's doing. The problem is the audience doesn't know. Right? 1, 2, 3, quack like a duck. And they do.
What?
Not your duck. That I wasn't even thinking that. It's but no, it's really horrific and stupid.
Well, it's funny, Ron. Even I put that in chat, and it probably went by the wayside, but there was a guy the other night that was blew 3 times over the limit, pissed drunk, first snowstorm of the year, smashed down a hydro pole, ran from the truck, got found hiding behind a shed in somebody's backyard. Cops arrested him, took him into custody. And he got released into his own recog the same night.
How's that?
With a promise to appear.
Yeah, how's that work?
I don't know. I'm still trying to figure it out. It was in the Whig Standard, Kingston Whig Standard this morning.
Yeah, but did they name who they had pulled over?
No.
No, it was probably a judge or something.
Yeah, well, he was hiding behind somebody's shed in the backyard.
Hope it wasn't murder.
So he escaped, ran from the authorities. When they finally caught up to him, they blew 3 times over the legal limit. Now, this is a guy that deserves to get punished because he hit a hydro pole, knocked it over, ran from his truck, and hid behind somebody's shed in somebody's backyard. But the same night, they let him go. I got pulled over for coming home from work, and they held me for 2 weeks without bail.
Yeah, but you're special.
I didn't hurt anybody, and I never have hurt anybody.
No, but you're
I never
special.
hurt any hydro poles.
Well, see, there's your mistake. Take out a hydro pole and you'd be treated better.
I guess.
We gotta read the fine print, right?
Yeah. It makes me wonder.
I would assume it's a judge or a prosecutor or a justice of the peace or a cop, or somebody works at City Hall, or a friend of somebody that works at City Hall, because that doesn't happen unless there's a connection there, you know.
Well,
Just the way it
especially
is.
when he ran and they had to chase him down.
Yeah,
They had to get the dogs out and then find him behind somebody's shed in the backyard.
and then they
And then
just
they
let
take
him.
him in and they let him go on his own recog the same night. Go figure.
Might have been a Muslim. Could have been a Jew. Could have been a Jew Muslim.
I'm not going to comment on that because I get too much slack.
For
So,
what?
well, the Jew Muslims.
Well, the Jews brought the Muslim.
I know that.
The Muslims work for the Jews.
Yeah, I know. But
The
isn't
Jews
it?
created
Isn't that
Jews.
sick?
The Jews, by
You
their own
get a guy
admission,
that
the
just
Jews,
thinks work.
the Jews, by their own admission, are the ones that fired up multiculturalism. By their own admission, this multiculturalism is a Jewish conspiracy. By their own friggin' admission. Then they say, oh, well, the Muslims are bad. Are you out of your frickin' mind? Who the hell's bringing the Muslims in? Who the hell set up the United Nations? Who set up Hollywood? I mean, come on. Isn't Rothschild's Jewish? And what did they come when they came to North America? They bought all the main newspapers so they controlled the propaganda. And they're the ones that set up the police forces. And they're the ones that put the judges in place and so on and so forth. So, you know, I mean, when the Jews kill their food the same way as the Muslims do, that's not just by accident, right? Not by accident. Halal and kosher, the same damn thing. And so have a very, very Jewish Muslim Christmas. Because did you see that story, Chris? They put out it's Montreal's 347th birthday or something. So they're having a big party. So they got like Celine Dion and all these Quebecer entertainment people and that. So I guess they put a video together to promote it. And as soon as it hit the air, some guy started complaining about it, and I haven't got a chance to look up who this guy is or what he's connected to. He started complaining about it. It didn't show diversity. It was all mainly just white people in it, and we can't have that. So those running the celebrations and those who made the video pulled it immediately to appease this jackass that was complaining that there wasn't diverse enough. Well, the diversity wouldn't be here if it hadn't been for the damn Jews. And why are the Jews pushing this diversity on us, which, is, by the way, is evil? That's the definition of diversity, is evil. Why are they pushing this evil on us? Well, to destroy us. It's that simple. And then people walk around and say, oh, you can't say that about this, and you can't say that about this, and oh, it's too bad you're white, right? Because you can't even open your frickin' mouth anymore without being charged with racism or being hauled up in the Human Rights Commission. But any of these other jackasses can just say whatever the hell they want. And if you say something back, then you're the problem. Well, I was here first. I ain't the problem. Okay? You come to my home, you act accordingly, or get the hell out of my home. And this land is my home. So if you don't like it, piss off. I'm so sick of this nonsense and I'm not a white supremacist by any stretch of the imagination. But this whole thing is a constructed fraud that is destroying our nations. It's got nothing to do about multiculturalism. That's just as word. I love that word. I love that word, mechanism. It's just another damn mechanism, just like climate change is a mechanism. That we need global problems that only global solutions can solve. We need these mechanisms. And multiculturalism, diversity, the LGBTQ, these are all mechanisms designed, concocted, constructed to destroy your society, which by definition is called genocide. And here we are in the West sitting back and embracing our own genocide. And that makes white people look pretty damn stupid. There, that's
How
my
about
rant.
them liberals?
What?
How about them liberals? We finally voted Harper out. We got what we wanted now, right? We got the liberals in and babysitter Trudeau.
Tinkerbell
Yeah.
and,
You know,
and his
but
crazy
you know,
wife.
now that we realize he was a mistake, I can't wait 4 years, but I will wait 4 years and I will vote him out and I will vote in.
What will you vote in?
The,
I think you should vote in a Sasquatch.
yeah, well,
I've never heard of a Sasquatch causing much harm to a nation. And maybe
Matter of fact-
that's you look at the hairdo on Trump, and maybe Trump is a Sasquatch because that tuft of hair on his head, it looks Sasquatchish. Maybe he just shaves the rest of his
spell
body.
that?
What?
Can you spell it? Sasquatchus. What? What did you just say?
A Sasquatch.
Sasquatchus.
A Sasquatch.
Yeah,
It
but
was-
the hair in his head looks Saskatch. What do you say that again? The hair in his head looks.
The hair on
Sasquatchish.
Trump's head looks like it could belong to a Sasquatch.
Oh, that's better.
Right. Sorry. Whatever. So he's quite and so Sasquatch is a good dog, Ron. Don't talk shit about her. You have a dog named Sasquatch? That's cool. That is really cool. If you actually have a dog called Sasquatch, I'm impressed. And to Sasquatch the dog, I apologize for equating your dog with Trump's hair. Please don't take me to a human rights or PETA rights tribunal, because then I too will have post-traumatic stress, and that would suck. See, now Chemtrailer is actually saying something I can agree with today.
Oh, time.
Chemtrailer says Sasquatch hates the Rothschilds. Good doggy. Good dog. What a bizarre world we live in, eh? Absolutely freaking nuts. I knew we were in big trouble when I saw that song. When was that? In the 80s sometime? We Are the World. That song. You know, people were running around, we are the world. And I'm going, this is bad. This is really freaking bad. Right?
Not looking up.
And yeah, we had all these entertainers just all engaged in We Are the World. No, you're a bunch of musicians. You're not the world. And why you're promoting someone's agenda that is out to destroy your ass is completely beyond me. And it's just been downhill ever since. And I'm not sure if little Mikey, what's his last name? Mikey, I can't remember that guy's name. Michael Jackson. I'm not so sure at the very end, some of his last videos and that before he whacked himself or got whacked. I'm not so sure as he just finally thought, I can't play this stupid game anymore. He did that video in a jail or something. And seemed to be explaining that this is bad news. And only was I got off along after that he went down. So, like Bruce Springsteen, the hero of America. I mean, this guy's a freaking leftist. He's a Marxist. He's a jackass. And but people just go with this stuff, right?
Well, he was born in the USA.
Well, yeah. So he was born in the USA. That don't make him anything special. That makes, that's just propaganda shit, right? So what are you going to do with all these guys? Ignore them, I guess. I mean, the whole culture, the whole North American culture was designed to just tow us along by the nose, I've heard lots better bands than the bands that people pay big bucks to go see. But these are the ones that are willing to sell their souls, and then we get sucked in by them because they're promoted as these great artists, and it's unfortunate, you know.
Well, I'll be honest with you, Ron. When I was younger, the E Street Band
Yeah,
was pretty cool to me because I felt loud and proud. I mean, I'm a Canadian, but I've got some 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 kinship with my brother from the South, and Bruce Springsteen brought that out in me.
well, that was what it was supposed to do,
Yeah,
so it worked, right? I mean, that was the agenda, and it worked. Um, it's just the way it is, you know. It's all an act. It's all a movie. Uh, it's entertainment certainly isn't real. The arts are certainly not real. But they use the arts. I mean, if you study what the arts are, they are there to gain advantage over, to deceive, and that's what the arts have done to us. And we continually, for some reason or other, allow ourselves to be deceived by this nonsense. I was reading an article out of the UN today, their news, the UN news. I should put that in the chat if I can find where the hell I put it. I haven't been there for a while. And apparently, the temperature has risen
Selling lies and buying time, killing people next in line. Lower class and social slime, they don't matter. Genocide, sick from water, sick from air. Making money, they don't care. Caesar shit, force of air. Fuck them back, it's only for they bomb. They shoot, they kill,